The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
It's time to BS.
Oh, shit. Forgot that was there. Great start.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 3 of Seahawks Sessions. I forgot how this thing works. One good thing happens and our bad thing happens. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard to be Seahawks Sessions. I need more coffee in me.
It's an early start because I have holiday plans tonight and we both have the day off. So we figured, why not? Let's jump in a little early because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Most of it's shitty, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Very shitty. Oh. Yes, Dustin, how you doing? It's oh my god.
I'm doing all right.
New camera.
New camera for you. Yeah, that's right. Your camera looks badass. Hopefully it was something Santa brought you over the holidays here. I
need a drink really bad.
Yeah, maybe fire up a seasonally appropriate drink like a White Russian or something like that.
Ooh.
I like to get down on those. Man, this stretch, I mean, I'm glad my Christmas went better than the Seahawks performance last night, which we'll get to, but we have to break down the Vikings game first, which was another source of disappointment.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's been a very hectic week.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the holiday season has come and gone.
Yeah.
New Year's is approaching very soon. Yes, it is episode 3 of Seahawks Sessions. Like I mentioned 3 times now, and we are coming to you live from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York, and the capital region of upstate New York around Albany.
Yes.
I am Staniel Smooth. That is Dustin. Oh, good freaking Lord! It's been. I'm coming down with a little migraine.
Okay.
So,
all right.
because I have a lot to rage on. And I specifically told you in the text that I'm in a bit of a furious mood. And I think you can sympathize with my rage at this point. You can very well sympathize, but we have a couple things to get to around the NFL. So, what is this, week 17 of the NFL season? The last time we recorded, it was week 18. Week 8.
We went forward in time.
You're
so blinded with rage. You're so blinded with rage.
This is my brain. This is my brain right now.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
That's my brain right now. My brain has become a South Park meme. Oh, good Lord. So, last time we recorded was week 16. What was it, like week 16, week 17 had just started.
Yep.
Or something like that. It was like the Thursday night game, was it Chargers and Broncos or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Chargers and Broncos, yep.
It's been wild. Things have gotten crazy. First of all, I had to reorganize my toolbox again.
Well, oh no!
You see one right. You see one sort of to the right of me,
off to the side there.
Yeah, you see that one, and then you see the gaming collection for those watching on YouTube. You can see the console collection all stacked up nicely over there. I had to organize the other one that's to the left of me, and because I have a lot of shit that I don't touch, I don't play. So I have a collection of DS games and Game Boy games I want to find a way to store somewhere, and I had to empty one drawer and then put that shit in the other drawer. It was just a fucking hassle. So, yeah, around the NFL. Before I get to that,
yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. On the Seahawks end of things, not so good, but everything else, it's okay. My Christmas was relaxing. It goes by too fast as always. But it went to my sister's. Usually does. Went to my sister's, hung out there, had some drinks. I ate enough so that I've gained 4 pounds in 2 days. That'll happen. And I'm about to eat tonight at my uncle's restaurant, steak and lobster. So you know what?
Steak and lobster is always a good combination. It really is.
Yeah, we're sending it. I mean, I might go pasta because he makes fresh pasta there daily.
Oh, there you go.
If you are in the Schenectady area of where I am from, head on over to Chez New if you haven't yet. Yes, he is my uncle, but he knows what the hell he's doing in the kitchen. They make good food. And most importantly, for what he makes, his prices are super reasonable. So go there if you're close, if you haven't. I will vouch for it every single time. But other than that, I'm doing all right. I'm in a good mood. I just played some video games during the day because I'm off. Played a little Helldivers with the VA crew. And that's about it. Other than that, I got some stuff to take care of, and break's gonna go by too fast as it always does, and we'll be back to the hustle and bustle before we know it. And I got to deal with the old seasonal depression that sets in after New Year's, but we'll get there when we get there. Other than that, I know partially how you're doing because we texted a little bit about it. How was your holiday? How's everything going?
Holiday was good. I saw Megan's her mom's side of the family on Christmas Eve, and then we did I didn't know you could do like Christmas charades. So we have this little tradition we do where her aunt does these like Christmas games and stuff like that. Okay. And one of them was Christmas themed charades, and where you have to describe what your character is on this card, like it's a Christmas themed card. Mm-hmm. I was called up in one of them, and one of them was I had to find a way to be an icicle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how the flying fuck am I going to do that?
Yeah. I mean,
how am I going to do that? That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was being like, woo, triangle. Like I was just trying to do like, and then we just made practical jokes like, how the fuck are we supposed to do that? So, and then on Christmas Day we went over to her grandparents' house, and it's always nice to go see her grandparents who are in their 80s, their upper 80s, which is nice to go see them. We get to talk some bullshit with them, especially her grandfather's a delight to talk to, and talk some shit. He's a war veteran and stuff like that, and he also has 7 1/4 fingers.
Oh.
So man. He lost 2 3/4 of a finger on a table saw.
Oh, jeez.
And he gets to play jokes with it all the time on Halloween. It's the best. Where he gets like baby carrots covered in ketchup in a bowl and stuff like that. He goes, oh, you found them.
Oh, man.
It just fucks with people. I love it. It's the best.
That's what you got to do when something like that happens to you.
You do. You play around with it here and there and stuff like that. Yeah,
you have to. I mean, anytime anybody says, oh, like I'm walking with a limp right now. I'm like, hey, welcome to the club. I've had a hitch in my giddy up my whole life. You get used to it. You gotta do something. You gotta roll with it.
Yeah, and I also got a new tattoo, so that was nice. I got an impulsive tattoo nonetheless.
Oh man, does it have like meaning, or is it just something you thought would look cool?
So, you can see on the camera you have. Well, my dog's paw print went like right after he passed. Yeah. I got his paw print tattooed on my forearm, and I have a cat. The mascot of Time to BS is Donut, Destroyer of Worlds and Creative Chaos, and she's still with us. Thank fuck. And then one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to get her paw print tattooed on the other forearm. So I don't know if you could see on the camera.
Oh yeah,
right next to the Seahawks tattoo, I got her paw print tattooed on the other forearm.
Yeah, that's
just
good,
yesterday.
man.
So yeah, it came out nice. It was quick too. She did it really fast, the artist that I went to. It was a walk-in, and I said, hey, can you do this? And she said, yes, give me 10 minutes to stencil it out. I'm like, cool, let's go.
Oh, nice. So this was a new artist that you've used you haven't used before? Because I know some people are like, oh, I only let so-and-so tattoo me. I go to the same place every time.
I'm going to shout out my artist that has done most of my tattoos, Devil's Rose tattoo shop over in Blue Point, New York, and back home, and they have done all but now 4 of my pieces, and I'm trying to do 2 sleeves. I'm trying to have 2 sleeves done and stuff like that, but my sister went to this tattoo shop over in a local Sayville, New York, called Lotus Tattoo, and she got a few pieces done from them in the past. And you know, to me, tattoo shops are like delis. You can't always go to the same deli all the time. You got to go to a different one every now and then, depending on where you are.
All right.
That's just how I view these things. But you know, just because I have an opinion doesn't make me right.
Yeah.
As Ricky Gervais would say. he said things much more differently, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But so back to around the NFL, there's been a lot of news and headlines going on. Saquon Barkley is over 200 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record, and he's came out publicly and says, "Yeah, I don't want anyone touching my record." Don't blame him. Do not blame him. I don't blame him, but at the same time, it'd be cool for Saquon to get to 2,000 yards against the Giants, of all things.
Yeah, that would be
that'd
delicious
be funny.
irony to finish the season here. And Mr.
Lamar
would lose months of sleep.
He'd lose years of sleep. But one of the things that's been going around is there has been rumors around the 49ers. I don't know how your distaste in the Niners is. I used to have a lot of distaste in the 49ers. Now it's like a mix between the Patriots and the Chiefs. Over the last few years, that distaste has gone up because of the cockiness. Rumor has it that the 49ers are impending an implosion of the team. And U Stadium, shout out to those boys at U Stadium, have reported that the Jets are attempting to make a trade.
Oh man,
of Kyle Shanahan.
Oh man, those head coach trades.
Oh God, where's Ryan when you need him?
they always go so well. Yeah, I have a suspicion. It's sometimes tough to gauge whether he wants to address certain things surrounding the Jets on NCR, but I have a feeling it's the Saturday brunch show. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. He'll probably bring that up.
Because I will give you Stadium a lot of credit. You know, the lads over there, Nick, Frankie, Jack, my co-host of Time to BS.
Mm-hmm.
When they have some shit they got to report, they're usually spot on with it. So this would not be surprising.
Yeah.
If John Lynch, the GM of the Niners, were to go like, hey, how much you're willing to give up for Shanahan? Because, you know, to give Shanahan a lot of credit, he can build a team. But it's just they can't finish.
Yeah. No, his late game, as the stakes rise, his late game management gets worse.
Shout out to 28-3.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. And you know what? I always say on that too that was another collapse of a Dan Quinn defense. You know, that was another because it was tough. It's tough, but So to answer your first question, my disdain level of the Niners has ebbed and flowed. There used to be a woman that worked in my building, and she was a Niners fan. I'm a Seahawks fan, as everybody tuning into this knows. And we used to have like a friendly rivalry with it. You know, it'd be like a stupid, like, when both teams were good, but this was when the Seahawks were in their recent LOB heyday, the Super Bowl runs. And she would be like, "Oh, loser of the game has to wear the opposing team's hat for the day, like everywhere, or like a jersey or whatever." It was always like a friendly wager, and she wasn't like a cocky Niners fan, so I didn't mind it. Like it was always kind of light fun. But there are certain Niner fans that have made it like tough,
easy to hate on them.
Yeah. But I will say my like I don't have the dislike for them that I had for the Rams. For example, I hated when Mike Martz was the coach of the Rams and the Seahawks were like getting better, but they just couldn't topple the Rams for those couple of seasons. I hated the Rams. I absolutely detested them. And some of that has still carried over, even because even when Jeff Fisher was still the coach and the Rams were a dumpster fire, they always seemed to play the Seahawks well in the Pete Carroll era, and they would spoil. So I would say my disdain for the Rams is higher than the Niners, but I'm still surprised to hear these reports. If this report is true, this is the most Jets move ever. Yes, they would do this. Their current owner, who is ascending the ladder as the worst owner in possibly sports, and that's saying something. I mean, when you're actually weighting Madden ratings in trades and stuff, I mean, that's pretty bad if that is true. If true. But I'm still largely surprised to hear that the Niners are thinking about blowing this thing up. Now, if Shanahan goes, they'll find another coach. But I do think John Lynch is a good GM. He has done enough to prove that he is a good GM. He knows how to build a team. And so if he were to go, I would be very shocked because I think he's done enough to warrant, a little bit of flexibility and security in his job. Also, the one time that he did make a mistake, they were quick. That was high profile when they took Trey Lance. They were quick to address it, and they unloaded him to the Cowboys while he was still worth something. And we've seen how that's gone in the preseason. What did he throw? 5 picks in one game?
Oh, it was like 3 first-round picks and so forth to the Dolphins, I think it was. It was something. It's definitely a Google question, but I wouldn't say I'm surprised if the Niners were to blow it up.
I mean, they have a lot of people to play. They have a lot of people to pay. Brock Purdy is going to command money at some point, and to my eye, and I don't know if you feel the same way, and I'll let you answer after this, but Ayuk is not happy. He got his contract extension, but he is not happy. He's not the same guy. Debo's kind of grumbling a little bit. So there are some high profile players that are making some noise.
Well, it's the Ayuk one is interesting because they should have traded him. Mm-hmm. They should have traded him, but I understand the whole you gotta make everyone happy. I understand both sides of this argument, as I usually do, but the Debo one's interesting because he's not their best wide receiver. He's their best weapon outside of Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. So. Oh, yeah, Kevin's here. Happy Friday, fellas.
Happy Friday, Kevin. Hope you enjoyed your Christmas. Hope you had a wonderful one.
Yeah. But the impending Brock Purdy contract, he's going to get $60 million. That's what I know. And John Lynch, Purdy's camp, his agents have watched the Cowboys situation with Dak Prescott's contract because Prescott's getting $60 million from the Cowboys. Yeah, you're telling me Brock Purdy isn't going to get 60 plus? He's going to get the money. Whether or not he deserves it is the question that everyone needs to, we'll flicker it around here and there. Yeah, but I don't know. They had to pay Bosa. I don't think anyone's going to. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. Yeah. They had to pay Bosa because when Bosa tore his ACL in his second season, that defense fell apart. He is literally their defense outside of Fred Warner. That's it.
I was going to say Fred Warner is the next one that they're going to have to pay on the cornerstone. If I don't know what his contract is though.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know who the highest paid inside linebacker is, but Warner's going to surpass that money, and I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. But I don't know. I feel bad because the fans haven't really won a lot. They haven't really won anything outside of like a few NFC titles game appearances and stuff like that. But it's kind of interesting where there's certain fans that will say, oh, they should have fired Shanahan after the Eagles' NFC title game loss and stuff like that. But it really does depend on who you ask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really ultimately depends on who you ask. But I would be stunned if they go on and say, hey, we're going to trade a bunch of guys and then pay Brock Purdy and then trade Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst possible thing they could do.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, because that's the thing. Sometimes, and we all get frustrated with coaches.
Correct.
All of us.
We all do.
But, like, who is better to coach the Niners out there than Kyle Shanahan?
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know, because it's hard to find a great coach as opposed to a great quarterback. It's harder to find a great coach than a great quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, and say what you want about Kyle Shanahan, but he can build quarterbacks up. Now they missed on Trey Lance, but as I said, they acknowledged that, and they and they had the cojones to acknowledge that, hey, we fucked up on this pick. We're trading him to the Cowboys because Jerry Jones, he loves himself, some I don't know what he saw in Trey Lance, but
whatever. The other thing that has been circling around the NFL circles, and Belly Up podcasts, the Coach Steve show with Zach Heilman, Coach Steve, Bears fans, diehard Bears fans. One of the things that has been circling around the NFL has been the rumors of our former coach, Pete Carroll, going to the Bears. And I'm not going to lie, I see John Fox when he was with the Bears for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the worst possible situation you could do for the Bears. And is to go out and get, granted, a great coach in Carroll, but at the same point, we are focusing here on a lot of what we've experienced of the downside of Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Carroll got us a Super Bowl. Yes, Pete Carroll has got us back-to-back Super Bowl appearances in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. We can appreciate that as fans. We really can. However, 2015, 2016 going forward, it was a lot of frustration for Carroll. And for Bears fans, you're going to experience a lot of that, which with Carroll. Whether or not you want to deal with it is the question. Me personally, if I'm a Bears fan, I want Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
that's who I want.
Vrabel deserves a job. I do think Pete deserves a job if he wants it as well. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I kind of agree with. And there's a Bears player. I forgot who it was. They mentioned it on the broadcast last night. But I can't remember who the Bears player was, but he basically came out, and I agree with what this guy said. So I can't take credit for this idea. This was not mine. But if you want to continue to develop Caleb Williams, you need an offensive specialist. You need someone who is offensively minded, who can work with a young quarterback. Now, no shade at Pete, but that is pretty much the complete opposite of what Pete will do. Pete is a defense-first guy. He wants to build a team around a defense, which the Bears already have some pieces in place.
They do have a good defense up in Chicago, but there are two options here you can go to if you're the Bears. One of them is, we mentioned, Mike Vrabel. The other one's Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury would be the obvious choice to me because he was Caleb Williams' offensive coordinator at USC for 2 years.
Yep.
It makes all the sense in the world. The problem here is if you're the fans of the Bears and they're devoted. Yeah. Chicago loves their teams.
Yep.
Loves them.
And you could argue that the Bears might be number one there. You know, a lot of people are going to talk about the Cubs and everything else,
yes.
and the Jordan era Bulls. The Bulls are a distant. I would put them. I would almost put them fourth behind the Blackhawks.
I put them fourth behind the Blackhawks too. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But the problem, Bears fans are very similar to Yankee fans in that regard. Is like, hey, we want to win.
Yeah,
we do. The Bears fans want to win. Do you want to deal with Cliff Kingsbury and his whatever the hell he does?
Yeah. The other name that's been floated out is Ben Johnson. But I don't know if you
get him leaving Detroit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if you get him out of Detroit. Now, the culture around the Bears has been bad. There's no disputing that. Where Pete Carroll would really be able to help, at least for 2 to 3 years, because I don't think Pete's 72 years old. We can talk about his energy all that you want. He's apparently surfing a ton. Pete's always had he's always had a young mind. He would turn the culture around for the Bears. He would, as long as they bought into his rah-rah, endless energy, always compete mantra, he would turn the culture around. I have no doubt about that. But it's also, at 72 years old, how much control would Ryan Poles want to cede to Pete Carroll? Because he'd undoubtedly want some. He would want to build the roster the way that he did. So I think Pete's best bet, go and become a GM of a college team now, because you basically do need a GM with the way the transfer portal works and everything else.
Yep.
Pete, go back to college and
go to SC. Go back to USC.
Yeah, there's definitely a team that would want you on the sidelines, and also the window's shorter in college, and I think the younger guys are more susceptible to what he brings to the table. He would turn the culture around in Chicago, but to develop and mentor Caleb Williams, I really do agree with that Bears player that came out and said, "Hey, we need an offensive guy for this job," and I think that's the way that Chicago's probably thinking. They invested a lot in Caleb Williams. They should acknowledge that they screwed up Justin Fields, they're going
to acknowledge the fact that they screwed up not only Justin Fields, but Mitch Trubisky as well. Kevin also pops in and says, I grew up in Indiana. Bears fans are serious. My brother's one of them.
Yeah.
They are very serious over in the Midwest area. You talk to any Bears fan that's over the age of 40, they can agree with you. But yeah, it's one of those things where you can go and say, Carroll wouldn't be the worst fit in the world. He'd probably be better as the team president of the Bears.
Yeah.
But the McCaskies are not going to give that up.
No.
Absolutely not. And I spoke to a few Bears fans, and they're pretty much waiting for Virginia McCaskey, who is George House's daughter, to basically kick the bucket.
Yeah,
for them to sell the team. And I do not blame them in a split second. Don't blame them. We have a couple games we got to discuss, because since we last recorded, 2 games were played by the Seahawks.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh boy. So I actually I enjoyed the Vikings game a lot more.
I did too. Yeah, that was an entertaining game. It was tough, but it was entertaining game.
It really was. And yes, the Vikings did come in to see. We did predict that Minnesota would be a tough game, not as tough as Green Bay because, we'll just call it how it is. The Vikings don't have as good of a roster on paper as, let's say, Green Bay, Detroit. Mm-hmm. Records speak louder than words, but whatever. Geno Smith, aside from the 2 interceptions, had a great day.
Yeah.
Great day. Had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
He was slinging the ball over the place. He was getting the football to his receivers. Smith and Jigba had a touchdown. Who else had a touchdown? I can't remember at the top of my head. DK scored. DK scored. We like these things. Did Sharps get in?
It was AJ Barner.
That's
AJ
right.
Barner got in.
AJ, he's been great.
Yeah.
He really has. He has a weird attitude. He reminds me a lot of a smaller Jimmy Graham.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like Jimmy had an attitude when he played back in New
did.
Orleans and with the Seahawks before he, that's one of those trades I look back and I go, oh.
Yeah, well, because we gave up Max Unger. We gave up Max Unger for that.
Yep. I think that trade could have worked if you had an offensive oriented system. But, that's a whole other story for another time down the road. The defense, for the most part, played okay.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few boneheaded penalties.
Yeah.
That really just, like the phantom face mask call on Byron Murphy. Well, that was a blatant face mask, but it was the Byron Murphy penalty just.
Yeah, that killed us.
Because literally 2 seconds later, off the back foot touchdown to Justin Jefferson. Who went off.
I have in my handy dandy black notebook, Darnold sacked, but the face mask penalty by Byron Murphy is a killer.
Yep.
That's
correct.
That's what I put.
Correct. Kevin also pops in. When the Seahawks took the lead late, I was excited. They just couldn't stop Justin Jefferson, but who can?
Yeah.
Very few defenses really can.
Yeah.
And which is, whatever. Brandon Ayuk still thinks he's Justin Jefferson, but whatever. Whatever. Overall thoughts in the game. I didn't hate the loss.
No.
As much as, towards the end of the game, when Geno threw the interception to effectively end it, I said, I don't hate the loss, though. Because would you agree that at this point of the season, we know what this team is right now?
Yeah, I would say I would agree. I would agree that there's a certain ceiling to what they can do offensively. And sometimes when they're clicking, they can do a lot more offensively.
Yes.
But they have these moments where they just don't click, which we'll get to later. I mean, because I will say after last night, my hopes, if they actually make the playoffs, my hopes, the title of this episode is perfect. Expectations are low because that was, but this team, I had a much different mindset. I did not like the loss. I mean, to the degree that you can like a loss, I wish they beat the Vikings because it would have given us more breathing room per se. But they handled themselves well in that game. They hung with a team that had 12 wins heading into that game. Okay, and we know the Seahawks. I have been saying, and I think people are going to tell me that they don't believe me, but I did not expect the Seahawks would get to 9 wins this year. I did not think it was going to happen. I remember, and I have to say that you are right. I thought the team would be worse. I thought it would take a little longer for Mike McDonald to build things and turn things around. You and Kevin both told me that you thought the team was going to do well. I thought we might get to 6 wins. That's where I thought we might be. So the Seahawks already are gravy, but at this point, we know that they have the capacity to hang with some teams offensively, and the defense can shut some teams down. But when you get to a certain caliber of team, it's going to have a long day. They're going to have a long day, and also they confoundingly, seemingly play down to their competition sometimes.
Which is weird because I saw a stat which was what was the Dolphins, the Jets, the Patriots, and now Chicago has a point margin of like 2 points or something like that. Some crazy stat.
And they also a carryover from the criticism that we used to level at Pete Carroll, and I hope that this ship gets righted. If I remember, the Seahawks are at least top 3, if not leading the league in penalty yardage.
They are top 3 in penalties as of right now. Yes.
Yeah.
To cut you off.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The expectations of Seahawks fans are way the fuck up there.
Yeah.
And that's a whole fan, like, that's not just Seahawks fans. It's like across the board, the NFL, even across all sports. I will get to that later, and we'll talk about that later. But the overall viewpoint around the fan base is, okay, this is a good loss because we know what they are right now. It's not of the fact of, okay, this is who they're going to be. Mike Macdonald signed a 6-year contract.
Yeah.
John Schneider has signed this man to a 6-year deal. We're not talking about like, oh, this is David Culley with the Texans back a few years ago.
Who David Culley still got screwed. I will die on that hill.
Correct. Correct. But I don't know how else would you word this, but we need to lower the expectations here, like as football fans, but also as Seahawks fans across the board. When there are certain people that are saying, "Oh, they should fire John Schneider, they should fire Mike Macdonald."
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because, granted, you and I are probably the best examples of this, where you and I grew up with Mike Holmgren, and then the one lone year of Jim Mora Jr.
Oh, God.
Do you know the records of Mike Holmgren for the first 3 seasons of his tenure with Seattle as head coach and GM? Off the top of your head.
Not off the top of my head, but they weren't good. There's a reason they brought Tim Ruskell in there.
Correct. Mike Holmgren in his first years in Seattle were 9-7, 6-10, and 9-7 his first 3 seasons in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So, Pete Carroll, back-to-back seasons of 7-9, and then 11-5 in 2012. It takes a while for for teams to really just click, and I think they're going to be. I don't know how they're going to be. The Seahawks are going to be next year, but they're going to be better than they were this year because you see the foundations. The foundations there.
Yeah,
you know what they want to do. And
they're starting to buy into Mike Macdonald.
Correct.
They like Mike Macdonald now. You know, they're
correct.
And it takes, like you're saying, it takes time. And
it takes time.
Also, these people that are saying fire John Schneider, fire Mike Macdonald. First of all, it's ridiculous to even say this, and we're kind of going out of order, but we're here now. We're here now.
We'll get to we'll get there.
But
let's get to that.
These people, so people don't remember for all the talk that John Schneider and Pete Carroll worked as a team, which they did. Many of the moves were final sign-offs. Pete had the right of refusal. So we don't even know. John Schneider has seemingly somewhat put his fingerprints on this team, but it may as well be his first year as GM because it's the first year that he has autonomy over all the personnel decisions. Now he said in this press conference after it happened, he said Mike Macdonald is going to have the opportunity to give his thoughts on the moves and put his fingerprints on this team, and I want to work with him. But he basically said, but I have final say now. And even when Pete stepped away, he said, John, and we know that it didn't end on the rosy terms that everybody was trying to put out there, but Pete himself said, this is why this is happening. John deserves his chance to see what he can build, and I'm excited to watch him do it.
And you're seeing McDonald's you saw McDonald's footprints be put on this roster.
Yep.
The Darryl Taylor trade.
Yep.
I think you and I probably would have agreed the Darryl Taylor trade back then didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I kind of raised my eyebrow on it.
Taylor was a very good speed rusher for this team. Mm-hmm. He was good off the edge. Couldn't stop the run to save his freaking life, but he was good in those cases. And then they made some other moves that you thought, okay, let's see where this goes here. The releases of Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, and then bringing in Rayshon Jenkins, extending Julian Love. I think we all went off and said, okay, Jenkins is a good player. Julian Love giving him the extension was well-deserved.
Yep.
And then moving Kobe Bryant to safety, we thought, okay, let's see where this goes here. The other one that I thought, okay, let's see where this goes to Mike Macdonald's credit, was moving Draymond Jones to outside linebacker. for the entirety of his career back at Ohio State to Denver, Draymond Jones is a defensive tackle. It's not an easy thing to do to go from D tackle to outside linebacker. Not easy to do.
Yeah.
And then to go from, hey, what was it? Jerome Baker and Terrell Dodson, who are starting inside linebackers for the majority of the season, to, okay, here's Tyrese Knight and Ernest Jones.
Yeah.
That was Coach McDonald doing that. And the people they're saying, oh, John Schneider is a terrible GM. He doesn't know what he's doing. It must be really hard for you to be that miserable fucking person.
Yeah.
It must be so difficult for you to just not be excited and go, hey, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's just an opinion. Doesn't make me or you right in this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion or belief system, whatever, don't care. But the unnecessary hate on John Schneider is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw the DK Metcalf must be traded crowd into this equation too, because do you know how many people would kill for DK Metcalf?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, and they kind of already fixed the problem, unfortunately. I mean, I'm hoping that the Chiefs aren't in the Super Bowl, but it's looking like they might be there, and they're finding their. But you put after the injuries at wide receiver, you put DK on the Chiefs or somebody like that. Forget it. He
gets 2,000.
Yeah,
he gets 2,000.
They would love to have DK Metcalf on the roster, or for that matter, Green Bay. Because who's the number one in Green Bay right now? Green Bay has nobody. It's like a rotating three-headed monster, but you don't know which head is going to eat. You know, they would love to have DK on their roster. The 49ers, you think they would love to have DK after?
I guarantee you, if somehow if DK Metcalf found his way onto the Patriots back in the day, if New England drafted DK Metcalf at 64 instead of John Schneider saying, you know what, let's go one up the Patriots.
Yeah,
Tom Brady would have a field day with this man back in the day. He absolutely would have.
Yeah,
and it's crazy how many people are just so just
and
annoys me.
It's reactionary because I get frustrated with DK last night he was on the sidelines. He had that penalty, he had that headbutt deal. But the thing is, at least he cares. You can't question that DK doesn't care. And I'd rather have that where it boils over sometime than somebody that doesn't give a shit and is just there to collect some money.
Yep.
So, like these, but
Chad Johnson.
But the point, I always liked Chad. I always liked Chad because early in his career he backed up his trash talk, and I do like the time where he sent the Browns' entire secondary Pepto-Bismol.
I remember that.
He did light them up too.
That.
That was
who's my absolute favorite? Yeah. I love the vitriol that Terrell Owens gets, because as much of a head case he was, he put up numbers with the 49ers and the Eagles back in the day.
Yeah, he really
did.
He really did, and even to some degree with the Cowboys, he was still putting them up with the Cowboys. But you get to the Bengals years and the Bills year, you're saying to yourself, did that happen? Yes, it did, but it was not memorable.
People forget that he spent a training camp with Seattle.
I did forget that. I did forget that.
Yeah, he spent the training camp in 2013 with the Seahawks.
Oh, man.
I remember that because that was shortly after that Percy Harvin was traded here. But anyway.
But yeah, I think it's unwarranted, and honestly, I think what it is, and I'm not trying to sit here and make myself sound like an old head. You've been a Seahawks fan. We established in episode 1. You've been a Seahawks fan for about as long as I have. We both really hooked into football and this team in the same era. I might have a couple years more than you, but I'm not some old head. But I think what a lot of it is, there are a lot of bandwagon fans who hopped on when the Legion of Boom was doing really good and when Carroll had it clicking and everything was going. And there's also a lot of young fans that have only witnessed the Seahawks being good. I mean, how many straight times did they win the division? And so I think there's a young contingent of fans, and there's also bandwagon fans that have never really had to go through low times.
Yep.
That's how it works. A team ebbs and flows. And also, to get a little philosophical, attention spans in general are shot, because of everything. So it's like nobody remembers, except for maybe Pepperidge Farm and some of the old heads out there. Pepperidge Farm always remembers, but it takes time. It takes
what?
time.
You know what? Hold on. You know what? Where is that button? Where is it? I got to find it. You deserve that. You get that. You get the Old Spice. That was good. That was good. Just the delivery of that was good.
Oh, thank you.
Oh boy. But yeah, it's and for a certain degree, I do blame social media in that regard because we're such an instant gratification society where it's why so many people are in debt, but that's a whole other discussion for another time. But lower your expectations, people. Jeez. I mean, for God's sakes, to throw Ryan some slash here, Jet fans have all the expectations of the freaking world, but at least they're patient.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
good God.
I mean, I would never question Ryan, and I like to throw him compliments because he deserves it. But he is one of the most loyal fans I know, and the fact that because he says it. If you tune in to No Creds, there's a reason there's no Victory Monday anymore. He and his co-host don't want to do the show, because they're done with the Jets this season. They're just so frustrated. But it took him so long to get there, and it took him so many years of just eating, and also for what it's worth, as much as I was like, for like 2 or 3 years, I couldn't stand the Rams because they were keeping the Seahawks down, and I hated Mike Martz in his face. But Ryan had to deal with the Patriots in that division, and all like that division was over for so many years. It was over
for years.
Started
by like week 5.
Yeah. So I mean, try taking a page from the Jets fan book or the Browns fan book or like Buffalo.
Do you see my hat, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen watching, do you see my hat? Yeah. I am an Islander fan. Okay? Mm-hmm. I am a fan of the New York Islanders hockey club. Do not ever question my patience. I have had to deal with bullshit on top of bullshit from 1997 at my birth till Lou Lamoriello got here in 2018. I've had to deal with incompetence at ownership, at GM. Mike Milbury was here. If you need to question my fanhood, may I remind you, I had to deal with Mike Milbury and Garth Snow for 20 fucking years. Don't ever question my commitment, my loyalty, and my patience as a fan.
He's got him tattooed. He's got him tattooed.
1, 2, biceps. They hurt like a bitch as much as my commitment to this fan base. Oh my God. Don't ever question my bullshit. Ever.
Kevin, let us know how long you've been a Seahawks fan as well, because you know well enough. It ebbs and flows.
Yes,
before Matt Hasselbeck, we did not have a quarterback, and a lot of people threw a lot of shade at Mike Holmgren for making that trade, and it took a couple of years. But guess what? Hasselbeck got there. But
you want to question the loyalty and the commitment to like the old Seahawk fans, the ones that are over the age of 40.
Yeah,
talk to them about the Jim Zorn years.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that old. But
you know what I mean? Talking about the Jim Zorn years, when this team was getting to the playoffs maybe 3 times since 76.
Yep.
Since the inception of the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
83 was one of the first times they went, I believe.
Yep.
When they went up against the Dolphins. And the thing is, like, they even say it, you know, in documentaries and things. Zorn and Largent were the only reasons to watch the team a lot of years.
Correct.
And they still showed up.
Yes. Don't question Seattle fanhoods. The entire Mariners fan base. The only reason the Mariners are even still watchable is because of Julio Rodriguez. That's it. So, and Luis Castillo, but like, you know, whatever. But, oh, jeez. Even the Supersonics were bad.
Yeah.
For a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord. It's lower your expectations, Hawks fans. Lower your expectations, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
We had a hockey score, by the way, last night.
Oh God.
How bad? Man. Did you fall asleep during that game? Because I almost did.
I almost did. I was like inches away from falling asleep, and it wasn't just a Christmas food coma. I ate way too much Chex Mix and crap. I love a good homemade Chex Mix. I'll tell you what.
You want what's a good snack? You want what's a really good snack? Goldfish and raisins.
Oh, all right. The first part of that, I couldn't agree more. Goldfish are awesome, but we are here now. Raisins. No, thank you, sir.
Craisins. How about cranberry raisins? How about those? Those are good.
Craisins? No way, man.
Really?
No
You're
way.
not a raisin guy?
No, I'm not a raisin guy. You put something out in the sun, and you're just like, oh, let it turn a little bit.
Let
get
it
all
rot
wrinkly.
more.
It's delicious.
Oh, jeez.
Do you like dried fruit? Do you like dried fruit?
I do every now and then, but I do love. Back when I was, very early on when I was living by myself, my go-to broke boy snack was raisins and goldfish, and then my broke boy
Salty,
meal.
Sweet.
It was good. It was addicting as shit and then my broke boy meal for a while was sweet potatoes, onions, frozen spinach, and eggs all mixed together in a pan with a slice of cheese on it. It was fantastic. It was delightful.
Right. You know, most of that I can get down on. I think that sounds pretty good, actually.
It was good. It was really good. But that's why I was consuming that along with some popcorn last night because I was trying to stay awake, but it was so bad.
Yeah,
but
it's terrible.
It was because. We can blame the rain. We can blame a lot of things. It was
and Gino did a little bit after the game. Did you hear him? He goes, "Oh, the Bears dialed up the rain at the right time because the reporter there was asking him like, oh God, what did the Bears defense do to keep you out of the end zone?" He's like, "Oh, they dialed up the rain at the correct time." Then he was complimentary. He was complimentary to the Bears. Like, come on, Gino, it was just bad. It was just bad. Now, weather was a factor. There's no denying weather was a factor, but they didn't push the ball down the field at all.
Hold that thought. You know what the game reminded me of?
What you have done has made God very unhappy.
Yeah. It reminded me. Do you remember that game? I can't remember who it was against, but Belichick was still coaching the Patriots. And he just was like, we're going to run the ball until they can't stop it. And it was a game plan from like 1946. And he just kept running the ball repeatedly. And he won the game, but it was like a sloppy game. I think it was against like the Browns or something.
Probably. But I remember like speaking of stopping the run, you can't stop the run. What was it, like 2006 where the Colts were in the Super Bowl? They played they played the Jaguars in Jacksonville, and then Fred Taylor and a rookie Maurice Jones-Drew just went off in that game. That's like a Pete Carroll coach dream, by the way, of just run the football for 400 yards. Anyway, we're going off topic here because this game was shit.
Oh my God.
If I am the NFL, I'm looking myself in the mirror. I'm going, what the fuck did we just do here by putting this shit show?
Yeah.
Granted, Thursday Night Football as a whole needs to go, but
I would say, now I've talked about it on NCR, but I still say this. If we keep Thursday Night Football, because let's be honest, nobody's going to walk away from the money. Amazon paid to have it. It's a big thing. But no Thursday Night Football until Week 10. Week 10 is when you can start the Thursday Night Football.
I agree with you on that. But you know what? That's not a bad idea. That's really not a bad idea at all. I second that idea.
Yeah, because by then, look at the quality. Last night's bag of shit notwithstanding, the quality of Thursday night football games has generally gone up the later into the season that you get. Because people are used to it. So we have like a couple Thursday night football games before Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving happens and teams play on Thursday anyway, and we're off to the races by then.
Yeah, I looked at this game. I texted you this. I said somehow, some way, the Seahawks are going to lose this game.
Yeah, no,
it was later in the game too.
I thought it too. And I said to you, and I think that all of us would agree, which we may as well just rename this podcast to Seahawks Sessions with Kevin, because I think Kevin is always here with us live. But
I gotta rebuild the board to somehow get his ass on here.
Oh yeah, we
gotta start a group chat with his ass.
We'll definitely make that happen.
We'll figure it out.
But the thing is, like, that game, I said to you, if it was any other team other than the Bears, the Seahawks lose this game.
Correct.
That's how bad they played.
Yes.
And it was so weird too, because in the beginning they looked great. That first drive, they didn't convert to a touchdown, but they opened with that field goal and they drove the ball up and down the field. But this has been one of the bugaboos of this team the entire season. They're great between the 20s, and then for whatever reason you hit the red zone and it's like a mental block. But man,
patience, people.
Yeah,
please.
But if the team that played the Vikings showed up for this game, we'd have blown the Bears off the field.
Absolutely.
The silver lining of this game, and really the only headline for me, at least the defense played as well as they have played in recent memory. And people could say it was against Caleb Williams all you want, and all stuff. He's still learning. You still have to stop the other team. They shot themselves in the foot with some penalties. I have them detailed in my notebook, but I got to let you talk. But the big thing is Zach Charbonnet looked great early.
Yes,
and
he did.
They seemingly went away from him a little bit, maybe to try to diversify the game plan so that the Bears just didn't know that the run was coming every single play. But I mean, he was averaging, especially early in that game, he was averaging more than 5 yards a carry. Which,
yes,
if you're getting 5 yards a carry or better, 2 runs and it's a first down. So I mean, he looked and on a couple of the runs, and especially the screen pass, which they emphasize the screen game because of the weather, and they kept it short passes. When Charbonnet caught the ball out of the backfield, a couple times he looked like he was shot out of the cannon. Zach Charbonnet filling in for Kenneth Walker, he showed that he can fill the shoes. He's shown it this season, but now that we know that K9's out for the season, Charbonnet is going to have to come up big in any future games. For
you know, he reminds me of a little bit. Do you remember Shane Vereen?
Yeah, I remember.
He reminds me of a bigger Shane Vereen a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He has the feet of Shane Vereen, but he's bigger than him.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Bigger, and he can bang it up the middle a little bit.
Yes, and he can catch the ball in the backfield. He really can.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way they got Kenny McIntosh involved, because for 2 years we've been screaming to get Kenny McIntosh involved because that kid could run.
Yeah,
he could sprint.
He had a nice 25-yard pickup or so.
25, 26 yards.
I mean, and the reason that sticks out should show you the quality that this game was last night. I mean, I almost couldn't. My friends from Virginia asked me last night, they said, "You want to play Helldivers?" I'm like, unfortunately, and that's exactly how I put it. I said, unfortunately, I'm watching the Seahawks game right now. I got to take notes for Seahawks sessions, but I was like, this game is a tough watch.
Oh, so bad. But
they barely escaped with a win on that one.
Hockey score.
Yeah.
It was a hockey score. A good hockey score, by the way, but it was a hockey score nonetheless.
And I will say, over the last 2 games, both the Vikings games and the Bears game, the offensive line, at points, the Seahawks were dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, which was a positive sign. And overall, they've been better at protecting Geno. So That's a good sign.
Yes. Satalamayo has been pretty good at the right guard position, and if they end up letting Lakin Tomlinson go, which let's be honest, they're going to let him go. Christian Haynes should be the new left guard for 2025. Christian Haynes, or if they somehow, Michael Jarrell can also play inside. One of their rookie offensive linemen, he can play inside too. He's big enough to play the inside. Olu's going to be the new starting center for a while.
I mean, he's earned it, in my opinion here.
He really has. And then who else? They got to extend Charles Cross and Abe Lucas tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
that was those were two of the best parting football moves that Pete Carroll made in his last draft. Those two, you got to give him credit for those two.
Abe Lucas is a really good pick.
Yeah.
But it's I'm very curious to know where your viewpoint is on this next topic here, because we touched on it very early on about the unnecessary hate for John Schneider. There's a lot of Seahawk fans, a lot of them. There's a lot of you out there that are giving an unnecessary amount of hatred towards, keep in mind, rookie head coach Mike Macdonald.
Yep.
I understand both sides of the coin here, because granted, you and I are spoiled as Hawks fans when we dealt with not only Mike Holmgren but Pete Carroll of success.
Yeah. For
20 something years. We don't count the Jim Mora year in 2009, but we don't
coach
talk about
in waiting is a term I never want to hear again.
Correct. But for people that are saying, oh, Mike McDonald isn't the guy, blah, 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 they should move on from Coach McDonald. You clearly have not experienced the one lone year of Jim Mora and the low points of Pete Carroll and Mike Holmgren.
Yeah. You want to bring in let's review
Tom Flores. Tom Flores.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Or the Dennis Erickson years.
Oh, Jesus.
But let's review, okay? Before Russell Wilson, okay? Because nobody knew what Russell Wilson was going to be. Nobody knew it. Anybody that says they knew it is lying to you. Even they got him in the third round, which means nobody was really they were saying he was too short.
Do you remember who the starting quarterback was projected to be?
That's
in 2012?
That's where I'm getting. It was
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn off of one great game.
Shut up, people.
And do you also want to remember who the starting quarterback was before? So Tavares Jackson, he had RIP to Tavares. He had some success in Seattle after Matt Hasselbeck. Do you want to remember who took over immediately for Hasselbeck after Hasselbeck's departure? Charlie Whitehurst.
Clipboard Jesus.
That's right. Oh my God. Charlie
Clipboard
Whitehurst.
Jesus.
So it's not like, all these people that want to heap hate on Geno, throw Charlie Whitehurst in there. But our point
Who wants Sam Howell to be the starter of this team?
Yeah. You saw what happened in Green Bay.
Who literally wants Sam Howell to be the starting quarterback of the Seahawks? Are you out of your damn mind?
But I will say now, Pete was building something with the defense. People didn't know it at the time, but he was building something with the defense, and they were starting to hit on some draft picks. Doug Baldwin early. People knew he was going to be good.
Well, Doug Baldwin was undrafted, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. That was the
KJ Wright.
KJ Wright. And Bobby Wagner.
Cam Chancellor.
Bruce.
People thought Bruce Irvin was a bad pick.
Yeah, and Bruce carved out a great NFL career for himself. But
good for him.
I will say, people forget Pete Carroll was saved by hitting on Russell Wilson.
Oh my God.
To some degree, because he never put an emphasis on quarterbacks before that. It was to hear Matt tell it. He's like, I knew I was gone. I wanted to finish that last year in Seattle, but I wasn't Pete's guy. We had a decent relationship, but you could tell they wanted to go in another direction. I wish I could have finished my career there, but I still wanted to play, which is why I went to Indianapolis,
Tennessee. He went to Tennessee
as well. So, I mean, But Pete never put an emphasis on quarterbacks. He got saved by Russell Wilson being
Pete Carroll
better.
is going to go Pete Carroll might go in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because of Russ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
They never I mean Tavares Jackson.
God bless his soul. Yep.
Yes. He was good at points, but he was never an elite quarterback. I remember a quote when Tavares Jackson took over the offense. He said, "If we go no huddle, I'm good. You give me more time to think, there's some trouble." That's
good. That's the polar opposite of what quarterbacks should do.
Yeah, that's basically his own words. Now he said it better than that did, but he was like, "I thrive in no huddle," which when you go back and look at the numbers, he did.
Yeah, he did.
But I mean, Charlie Whitehurst, a quarterback, the impact of quarterback, and also why I'm going on this rant. It takes time. It took Pete time. It took Mike Holmgren time. And it also took Mike Holmgren giving up the GM title and allowing somebody else to come in. Because he even admitted later, he said, "You can't do both anymore. I wanted to do both. I thought I could do both, but you can only be elite at one." But Mike Holmgren has always wanted to build a team, which is why he took over that football czar position for the Browns back in the day. He always wanted to build a team, but he acknowledges now. He acknowledges now you can't do both at once. That's why they brought Tim Ruskell in, and that's when the Holmgren era really started to hit its stripes. Because
2004.
Yep.
2004.
It takes time. And Holmgren was hired in, I believe, 1999 or 2000?
Yes, 99.
Yep, 99.
Right after he was hired, he made the trade for Hasselbeck because they got him from Green Bay.
Yep, they got him. He was Favre's backup in Green Bay. Now, do the math, Seahawks fans. 1999 to 2004, when the Holmgren era really started to take off, what did Mike Holmgren had? He had 5 years. 5 years to fail a little bit, to bring in the pieces that he wanted, to figure it out. Yep. We should give that to Mike McDonald because I think in his first year, he's done great things already.
He really has. Considering the fact of this is majority of Pete's roster, but at the same point, you and I could both agree on this, that throughout the frustrations of the last 3 years of Pete Carroll's tenure in Seattle, they had talent.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of talent. They really did. And they had good offensive weaponry. They really did. I got so excited when they drafted Smith and Jigba because, oh my God, I was so pumped. And then now it seems like they're finally starting to way how to use him. He's a natural in the slot.
Yeah.
Natural. Damn near natural. And Lockett, to his credit, has assisted in Smith and Jigba's development. Mm-hmm. And DK Metcalf at 6'4", 240 is a weapon.
Yep.
Is a fucking weapon.
That's why you have the luxury of JSN in the slot, is because you still have to account for DK at the X.
Yep. And then if Lockett does end up retiring this offseason, Jake Bobo's not a bad number 3.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's not. And if not him, Cody White's still there. Mm-hmm. Cody White is 5'11", 6 foot, and he can catch some football. He really can. Or if not, the wide receiver market is saturated with talent.
Yeah.
Wide receivers now officially do grow on trees, ladies and gentlemen. But I said it earlier in the program. This year, you probably know what this team is in Seattle. I think they have 1 or 2 good off seasons away from a Super Bowl.
Yeah, from real contention.
Contention in the NFC. Because Philadelphia's not going to win for much longer. Maybe, depending who you ask. Dallas, don't get me started on the Giants.
Yeah.
And then Washington, the only real team that is, going to go from worse to really good, Washington.
Yeah.
Washington and maybe Atlanta.
Yeah. Washington is going to be a problem for a while because they have a star now. I mean, as much as it is a quarterback driven league, they have a star now. Now, the only thing that could go sideways in Washington a little bit is, honestly, they might end up, and I'm going to sound like a crazy person from saying this, they might end up moving on from Dan Campbell faster than you would think.
Quinn?
Or Dan Quinn. My apologies. They might end up moving away from Dan Quinn faster than you would think, because Dan Quinn in the short term will rebuild your defense. He will turn it around
quickly.
He's proven that he can do it. But then there seems to be a thing. If you look at his previous head coaching experience in Atlanta, and you look at his tenure in Seattle, and you look at his tenure in Dallas when he had that defense, he did turn that defense around.
Yeah.
There's like a shelf life for Dan Quinn. There comes a point where people stop buying what he's selling, and then the bottom falls out fast.
Unfortunately.
They might move on from Dan Quinn faster than people realize, but they're going to be good for a while.
They're going to be good for a while, yeah, in Washington, and they deserve it. That fan base deserves it. They are loyal.
Yeah.
And, Seahawks fans, fucking relax, please.
Yeah.
Just relax. Like, your expectations, good Lord. I blame Twitter for a lot of this shit.
No, it is.
Shut up.
They're off the chart. And John Schneider, Mike McDonald is his first, for lack of a better term, it's his first hire. Yeah, it's his first
Literally
hire.
his first hire.
So he's going to feel a tie to Mike McDonald. He's going to feel he's probably not going to want to move on from Mike McDonald. And I really don't think that it's going to go south for Mike McDonald at all. Look at what he built. In
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year. They're probably going to get to 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah.
1 year. It took 1 year to get to 9 wins.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second here, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that.
Yeah. And you could argue that the Carroll loyalists out there will argue, oh, well, this is Pete's
Evan
roster.
Hill. Fuck you.
This is Pete's roster. But the difference is Pete, for better or worse, is loyal to his guys. He sticks with his guys when maybe he shouldn't stick with his guys for that long.
Don't believe me? Who was the offensive line coach for a number of years?
Yep.
Tom fucking Cable.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Tom Cable.
Darrell Bevel was here for way too damn long.
Yes. Oh my God. He sticks with his guys. Pete, for better or worse, sticks with his guys. And on the
he hired Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. Your father, you are not, Brian. Your father, you are not. Now, but
is Marty in the Hall of Fame?
If not, he should be. Hold on, I'm
going to Google this. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm going to find this out. We have news.
Ooh.
Jalen Hurts is out for against Dallas. Kenny Pickett's starting.
Wow. Okay.
Marty
some rest. Wow.
Schottenheimer, Hall of Fame.
But I will say, the duo of Mike McDonald.
Wow.
He's not in.
He's not in.
That's ridiculous. Put Marty Ball in there. Come on.
He was a semifinalist for the 25 class.
Oh man. Okay. All
wow.
Right. We got to get him in. We got to get him in next year. That's ridiculous. I would have thought that he was in already. I mean, people are going to throw the things that he wasn't able to win the big games.
Whatever. He was a great coach.
Chargers tenure, with his Kansas City tenure, with his Cleveland Brown tenure. But I mean, come on. Elway burned so many people. Marty Schottenheimer, some things just didn't break his way.
Cleveland got lucky in 91.
Yep. The LaDainian Tomlinson injury for the Chargers.
Oh, my God.
Forget about that. But he should be in. But back to the McDonald and Schneider duo have shown an ability to do something that Pete never did. They are making adjustments in season. They're realizing, hey, I made a mistake. Let's try to rectify this. Or, hey, we're weak here. Let's try to rectify this.
The Ernest Jones trade.
Pete's mantra pretty much always was, we will improve this. We will improve this. I like our personnel here, which a lot of times he was right. Somebody got better, but a lot of times he was wrong too. McDonald and Schneider are approaching this team in a way that we haven't seen in a long time, and I'm excited to see what they can do in the future because he built that defense at Michigan that won the national title. He built the Ravens defense last year that was so amazing. Give him time.
Yep. And Devin Witherspoon, good Lord, has balled out.
Yeah, that's another great. He
doesn't have the sack numbers, but Devin Witherspoon has balled.
For this
team.
He's
and also
moving all over the place. They can put him anywhere.
If Seattle makes the playoffs, Leonard Williams might win Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh man, he's been on a run.
He's been unfreaking believable.
That was a great. I don't know who pulled that trade. I don't know who had. Well, Pete was still there, so it was probably Pete.
It was probably Pete because he was a USC guy.
So there's things that we have to give credit where credit is due to Pete Carroll for some of the roster, but some of the decisions and some of the switches that Mike McDonald has done and put people in. This is ridiculous. And he's the youngest head coach in the NFL.
He's 37 years old, people.
You want to know who was the youngest head coach for many years before Mike McDonald got hired? Sean McVay. How's that worked out? Because as long as Sean McVay is coaching the Rams, they're going to be a problem.
And geez, people, like, for God's sakes, listen to some Pink Floyd. Calm your tits. Smoke a joint here and there. For God's sakes, people, calm down.
We are on
Get off Twitter, please. For God's sakes.
Oh, man.
All of you, Jesus, what you have all done has made God very unhappy.
What you have done has made God very unhappy.
Just shut up. All of you, fuck. That's why I can't even go on Twitter anymore, because, like, for fuck's sakes, all you do is complain.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I said it must be really hard being that fucking miserable.
Yeah.
God. What are we in high school? Fuck.
I think some people out there are.
Most of us here in our 30s. Jeez, we have lives.
Yeah,
some of us here are getting married.
Yeah, you're getting married. Congratulations. I'm in my 40s and still single, but hey, I still have things going on.
I could have swore you were like 32.
No, dude, I'm 41, man. 41.
Oh boy, you have way ahead of me then.
When you said you were born in 97, I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize he's that much younger than me.
Yeah, I look 40 because of the beard, but you shaved the beard. You shaved the beard off. I look 12, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Jackson would have a way with me then.
Oh, man.
That's getting clipped.
Yeah, that one.
That's getting clipped.
That one got a wheeze cough out of me.
Oh, jeez. It's going to go on TikTok and immediately get banned.
Yeah.
I finally figured out a way how to edit clips. Do you subscribe to the YouTube channel yet?
I believe I did. If not, I will remedy that after the show.
I found a way how to clip I found a way to clip everything without going off the deep end.
Nice.
I found a way how to do it. So thank God for YouTube Studio. Thank fuck. We have one more game to close out the 2024 NFL season for the Seattle Seahawks, and it is in Los Angeles against the Rams. Now, it is basically, without getting too further deep down the rabbit hole, pray to God the Cardinals win. Yeah. Because it's win, you're in.
Yeah.
Win and you're in.
Yep. No, we need the Cardinals to come up big.
Yep.
And beat the Rams. Because let me tell you, we just preached patience for people. But we are close to sniffing the playoffs. And let's be honest, if they get into the playoffs, if the team that shows up that played the Bears last night, they may as well not even get on the plane.
Correct.
But I would love it if the Seahawks made the playoffs in their first Mike McDonald year. But to do it, they have to play the Rams very well. I'm very worried. I'm very worried about the Rams. The Rams, Cooper Kupp, was barely even targeted in their last few games, and they still won. That's how ridiculous. In their defense, I thought their defense was really going to regress with Aaron Donald retiring and everything. They've been good. Ryan was right about that one. He said, I think their defense is going to be better than you think. He was right. I wish he wasn't. And I mean, Matthew Stafford, what can you say? The guy's tough as nails. He's still playing. They can sling it all over the. I am worried, but if you stop Kyron Williams and you make the Rams somewhat one-dimensional, we got a shot. And when we played them earlier in the year, it came down to
Stafford heaving a bomb.
And it was also Geno threw those 2 red zone picks in that game that really cost us.
They could have beaten the Rams, and we're having a completely different discussion on this team.
Yeah.
There's a few games that the Seahawks have played this season that you could make a very good argument and say, okay, if X, Y, and Z happens any other way, they're probably winning the West.
Yeah.
Most likely. Because the Niners' implosion has been glorious to witness. And the Cardinals, let's be honest, the Cardinals have a year away.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are a year away.
And they got to figure out how the hell to use Marvin Harrison Jr. You got a weapon like that. What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing? You have a weapon in that man.
The pieces, I've been saying for the better part of almost 2 years now, Jonathan Gannon is building something down there. And if he can get his head out of his behind sometimes, Kyler Murray, at points he's looked great. At points he's forgotten that people exist. So
maybe because you can't see them.
Maybe. I mean, they're building something down there, though. Watch out for the Cardinals. And they extended James Conner, who, if healthy,
he's
still is doing it. He's still doing it.
He's still doing it.
So
if they make the Rams run it, they have a shot.
Yeah.
They have a shot. And you've seen the talent that the Seahawks do have on the offensive side of the ball. They got 2 good tight ends, 4 good wide receivers, and 2 good backs.
Yeah.
They got 2 good backs in Sharps and now Kenny McIntosh is in there somehow. And you've seen what Ryan Grubb is starting to do, which is, hey, he's getting these linemen moving.
Yep.
He's getting them moving, and which is good because Ryan Grubb was an offensive line coach at Washington before he was the offensive coordinator. So, and by the way, the other people they're saying, "Oh, Ryan Grubb is an idiot." Blah, 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 the patience, people. Jeez.
Yes. Ryan Grubb is also getting a lot of
Chip
hate.
Kelly. You're not Chip Kelly. Calm down.
No, there's a lot of armchair offensive coordinators, armchair coaches, and armchair GMs out there.
Get off Madden, please.
Don't be like the Jets ownership. Don't be like the Jets ownership.
Oh, God.
Trust me, you're not smarter than John Schneider is. I'm not smarter than John Schneider is. Now
we don't get paid to do this shit.
Yeah. We don't even get paid to do this in front of microphones. We love doing it though, so that's why.
That we do.
Yeah,
we do love doing this shit.
But I mean, they've got to. They played the Rams better early in the season. They hung with the Rams. Now, some could argue that was before the Rams really found their stride. So I'm a little worried about that. But
we shall see.
They need to show up. They need to play. I mean, to sound general, they need to play better, and they need to shut down at least one dimension of the Rams' offense to have a chance. Because the Rams have too many. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, their tight end. They have Higbee is back now. Higbee is back, and they also don't look now, but they have former Seahawk Cody Parkinson, who always came up with. Yeah, he always came up with some clutch. The duo of Disley and Parkinson, they were good. Yeah, like the way that they used them were good. I liked it.
That's one guy I would like to have back is Will Disley.
Yeah,
that's one man I would love to have back. He's with the Chargers now.
Yeah.
He's with the Chargers. I miss that man. Uncle Will was awesome.
Yeah.
But I would not be mad. I'd be annoyed if they lost this game. I wouldn't be so mad because, like, okay, you have a foundation what you're building.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're building. You know what you want to build.
Yep.
That's good. You need to do that. So this is one of those, like, the college football things, like a good loss, bad loss. This would be a good loss. It'd be an annoying loss, but it'd be a good loss nonetheless.
Yeah, if they are able to at least hang with the Rams and they don't get blown out, I'll be at least happy because, like I said, I expected the Seahawks to get 6 wins this year. This has all been gravy to me.
Yeah. All been gravy, nonetheless. All been gravy. Oh, boy. What a fucking season this has been. What a weird season it's been for the Hawks.
What a roller coaster ride.
Oh, my God. Hawaiian roller coaster ride?
They're streaky. They're like Frank the Tank. They're going streaking. That's what they do
Hawaiian
this
roller
season.
coaster? You missed the joke.
I did miss it. What is
Hawaiian roller coaster? You've never seen Lilo and Stitch?
You know what? Lilo and Stitch is a blind spot for me.
You've never seen Lilo and Stitch?
I have not.
Go watch Lilo and Stitch as soon as you get the fuck off here, and you'll get that song is catchy as shit.
All right, I'll go watch it. That was a Stitch impression. I don't.
What you have done has made God very unhappy.
It came out sounding more like Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
You know what this sounded like a little bit?
Words.
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 Yep.
Uh-huh.
Read.
Read.
Read. Book. Read book. Yep.
Those are two of my favorite characters from
The
Sesame
Martians
Street,
from Sesame Street?
Yeah, I love those dudes.
I love it. There was a whole convention before we close up shop. There was a whole convention of like Comic-Con or some shit, and like there was a whole like a section of Comic-Con that was dedicated to the Martians.
Oh man, that's pretty sweet.
It was fucking beautiful. I think it was like Halloween. It was like Halloween or some shit where it's just a whole group of people just dressed up as the Martians from Sesame Street. It was fucking beautiful. It was beautiful. It's just like, I'm glad that portion of comedy has held up.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, to this day, I think I did it on Christmas Day. I just turned to my sister and I went, yep. She started doing it. We love those guys.
Every now and then I'll break out in like Dory from Finding Nemo or some shit to my fiance. Just like, hey dear Mrs. Grumpy Gills. She's like, stop doing that. I'm like, you Mrs. Grumpy Gills. I love annoying the shit out of her. It's great. One of the things that I can appreciate about, the dating game and stuff like this, you learn more about yourself and your significant other down the road and stuff like that. And you'll learn some things about yourself and your significant other that you didn't even notice before down the road. Like you won't notice, like, hey, this particular individual is more of a weirdo than I am. And that's impressive.
And that's one of my exes. She just turned to me one time and said, like, she said, I love you, but some of the stuff that you do to watch you in your natural habitat, you should be observed in a zoo. And every once in a while, I'll think about certain things and I'll be like, nah, she was kind of right about that one.
Yeah, she was kind of right.
Yeah,
she was kind of right. There's no such thing as there is such thing as too weird, but to a certain point.
Yeah.
There is such thing as too weird, but to a certain point, ladies and gentlemen. There really fucking is.
You can go full weird really easily.
You really can. There's such a thing. I won't quote what Robert Downey Jr. said from Tropic Thunder, but you know where I'm going with this here.
You knew where I was going, yeah.
Yes, I did know where you were going there. I did know. Never go full weird.
Yeah.
He said it differently because,
he did.
I can only play it in the clip, but, I can't say it because, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I am a good Samaritan, even though I am certified. I am, unfortunately. But, all jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this edition of Seahawks Sessions, Episode 3. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, follow the show on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, at Time to BS Podcast, and at Time to BS with Staniel Smooth on YouTube. Subscribe to No Credentials Required on the YouTube channel.
Thank you, sir.
Link is into the description. Go follow Dustin's ass on Twitter and Instagram at LDusto67 and at NoCredsRAQ on Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to, follow the show for more episodes of Time to BS with Staniel Smooth. The Staniel Smooth Show is coming back soon. I'm going to try and stream later tonight. Episode 14 of the Staniel Smooth Show, where I get to talk some shit and even go deep down the rabbit hole of whatever the fuck is on my mind.
And don't forget, subscribe, because the way that my esteemed co-host does it, every show that he is on is in the feed. So subscribe and you'll get it all. And the other thing is too, don't forget, don't sell yourself short, sir. You also host another show with my co-host on No Credentials Required.
It's been a while since we've done that, Brian.
I called the Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast.
Oh, good Lord. Ryan, where are you? I'll be recording, bitch.
We're recording tomorrow, and I'll be seeing them for New Year's. So
yeah, I gotta get my ass on there, because I want to fucking talk some shit with him. Talk some chaos and shit, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast. Part No Credentials Required. You can go subscribe and follow that show and stuff. Talk some puck. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your mom's mom, tell your mom's girlfriend or lover, or whatever. If your father gets cucked or whatever, this shit.
Oh, Jesus. Secret lover. Oh, man.
I love that sound.
Yeah.
That sound always puts me in a good mood whenever I'm just like, because that's my text tone. It's great. I'm just like sitting in my bedroom or some shit, like playing like one of the fuck, like Pac-Man or whatever the fuck on the GameCube, and I'll turn my phone and ring around. It just goes. It's just like, that's great. We're simple creatures.
We are.
Us men are simple creatures. Sorry, feminists. I'm just kidding. We're all simple. We're all simple in our own way. So that'll do it. Oh, shit. My name is Staniel Smooth. That's Dustin. He is coming to you from the capital region of Albany, New York. I'm Staniel Smooth, coming to you from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York. And we will see you all in this life and most certainly the next one. Cheers, guys.